Hello friends, welcome to KT Research Guidance Bureau. Myself, Dr. Kumudini R. Thakur, would like to give you the another step of our research process, that is research design. Research design is the heart of your research study. Why? I would like to give you one example. Suppose you want to stitch a dress. For that, you purchase very rich material. But if the design is not proper and suitable to you, then it never appears good or it never attract anybody. Same is the case for your research design. A design is a plan or specification for the construction of an object or system for the implementation of an activity or process. So, in research design, you have to give your plan. If it is good, then obviously it is beneficial and your research looks good. Now, let us try to understand research design. Research design is a master plan that specifies the methods and procedures for collecting and analyzing needed information. We know the simple meaning of planning. In big companies, there are several departments. Each and every department, they plan their schedule, and on that basis, board of directors or the managers, they make master plan. Same is the case for our research design. It is a master plan. Why? Because there are several steps and we have to plan each and every steps so that we can complete our task and we can draw a good picture. Now, let us try to evaluate with the understanding of this master plan. First of all, it is an outline of the research scheme on which the researcher is going to do the work. Means how you are going to do your work. That scheme you have to explain so that you can understand it in a nice manner as well as the user, reader or the evaluator can understand it very nicely. Second thing is, you have to highlight scope of your research work, structure of your research work, and there are several structure. Among them, which structure you are going to adopt. Now, keep in mind, when you design your plan, that time no need to explain types of structure, because the reader has the idea or we believe that these things they have to cover. So, we have to highlight only which scheme and which way we are adopting and we are going to use it. And the another element is, it is a schedule and strategy suggest how the research will be carried out. So, all these elements you have to cover when you draw your research design. Now, we know that many times we want to do so many works, but without planning we can complete our task, but what our experience says us, that if our planning is good, then we can complete our task with less efforts, less time and less cost. So, let us try to understand need for research design. Why you have to plan your schedule? First is, it is a blueprint of your research work. So, it highlights your proposed research work. That is why it is needed. Second thing is, if you make a blueprint, then it simplifies your research procedure. You know, I have to do this work within this much time and I have to cover this much work. So, you can simplify your research procedure. If you can simplify it, then obviously it increases your understanding for that subject and you can give general idea about your research work to anybody. Then if you are able to understand, then obviously you can increase your efficiency. So, if your plan is good, obviously it increases efficiency of your research work and then it is more useful for reliable research findings. If your plan is perfect, then it helps you in several ways. So, it is my humble request to you, when you start your research work, that time draw your research plan. There are several types of research design. When I gave you idea about types of research, in that I explain you descriptive research, analytical research, applied research, fundamental research, quantitative research, qualitative research, same way. And on the basis of your type of your research, you have to draw your research design. And same is the case for the type. How many types are there? First is descriptive research design, analytical research design, applied research design, fundamental research design, quantitative research design, qualitative, exploratory research design. So, as per type of your research work, you have to draw your research design. I will give you detailed idea with one of the example. Now, let us try to understand steps in planning the research design. First of all, you have to determine how much work you are going to cover, means determining work involved in the project, how much you are going to cover. Now, you decided it, your area, scope, then find out estimated cost for your work, so that at least you can do planning. Third thing is prepare time schedule for that one. Time schedule means, suppose from the day one you thought that within 3 years I will submit my report. Then what is clear in your mind? I have 3 years. So, later on I will do. Don't do this one. First year wise plan out, then month wise plan out, then weekly plan out, so that you can complete your task. Otherwise, what happens? Your mind says you that I have 3 years, why should I hurry? Don't do this one. Plan out it and then verify your results. Verify your results with your objectives, whether your objectives and your findings, they are same having one line, or your objectives are different and your findings are different. So, you want to go to Ahmedabad and you can reach to Bombay. This may happen. So, when you design your research design, that time some elements you have to keep in mind. First one is introduction. Second, statement of your problem, means problem formulation. If you do not want to formulate the problem, then give clear picture about objectives of the study. You can cover both statement of the problem and your objectives, or only you can continue with objectives of the study. Then in that one, research methodology, scope of the study, significance of the study, geographical area, reference period, then your data collection method, your sampling method, that also you have to highlight, and your chapter scheme. Chapter scheme, and many times think about the limitations of the study. Now, I will give you one example for your research plan. Suppose, being a commerce student, you are interested in financial analysis. This is your broad area. So, that idea came in your mind. So, I want to analyze financial reports, but this is a very big area. Now, you want to narrow down it. So, you have to select the industries. We have several industries, and every industries have their own value, but you are under the impression, and it is true, that among these, which industry is most important industry for you? Till date, our country is based on agriculture. Right now also, all these farmers, they are agitating. Many times they are unable to understand the problem. It may happen, that is none of our business, and you selected fertilizer industries, and your submission time, or after 3 years, you have to submit your research report. Now, first of all, you determine your main area, then you narrow down it. Now, in fertilizer industries, several companies are there. So, obviously, you have to select some companies. For selection of the company, you have to set the criteria. So, you set one criteria, that if the company is listed in national, means National Stock Exchange and Bombay Stock Exchange, then you will consider it. So, your first selection criteria is listing in both exchanges. Now, suppose 20 companies are listed in both exchanges, then what to do? Then you fix one criteria, then come to another criteria, that may be sales, turnover, profit. You can take any of the criteria, and you selected 10 companies, and your scope of the study is also for 10 years. Now, 10 years means, suppose one company is 60 years old, then what to do? From day 1 to 10 years? No. Consider recent financial year, and on that basis count 10 years. Suppose you want to submit in after 20, then 2010 to 2020, means last 10 years you have to consider. So, this is your basic background. Now, when you plan that time, you have to consider mainly three factors. First of all, your topic, then time duration and estimated cost for that one. So, your first head is topic. In that one, you can specify your topics. Your first is selection of the subject. Selection of the subject, generally it takes 1 month, but for that no cost. You have to think, you have not to pay anything for that one, because it is your choice. You selected the subject, then you want to narrow down it. For that one, again 1 month you have to spend, because you have to analyze the data and consider only secondary data, and secondary data is easily available. So, no cost for that one. Afterwards, review the literature, or you can say review of previous studies. Generally it takes 4 months, but then do not stop it. Till submission of the final report, try to review studies, so that your evaluator or the reader can understand that the researcher has the knowledge about the present literature. If only old reviews are available, then nobody will consider, because situation may be different. So, till submission of the final report, please try to collect reviews. Then minimum cost is 5,000. Why? You may have to visit other libraries, and many channels they give the review, but for that they will charge and you have to pay. After that, you have to decide objectives of the study. Objectives of the study generally takes 1 month, but keep in mind, as per availability of data, you can modify your objectives, and in the beginning of the research study, you may not have the idea about the complete picture. So, you can modify them. If your guide or expert have the time and ready to help you, then for that no cost for that one. You have not to pay anything. But if your guide is very busy, he has no time, then you have to consult another expert, and for that they will charge. Many guide they provide consultancy facilities, and for that they will charge. Now, afterwards, you have to decide your methodology. For methodology, minimum 3 months you have to spare. Why? If your method is proper, then you can complete your task nicely. Same is the case for objective. If your guide have enough time and ready to spare for you, then no cost. Otherwise, consult the expert and pay consultation fees. It may 3,000 rupees or maybe more than that one. Then you have to collect the data. First of all, when you review the literature, that time you can collect the data. But many times you may realize that my objectives are a little bit different. So, I have to collect this type of data. So, in secondary data, you have to spare minimum 4 months, but again listen me, continue this secondary data collection till submission of the final report, because recent and current data gives the current picture and you can understand, and that scenario is the same as per your objectives and findings. You can authenticate your findings also. For that, minimum 5,000 rupees you have to spend, because many websites they give you data and for that they will charge. You have to travel for that also. And after that, if your study is based on primary data, then you have to collect primary data. You can collect primary data by several ways. In next session, we are going to learn techniques for primary data collection. Then for primary data, minimum 6 months you have to pay. If you have prepared the questionnaire, then you have to take the printout, then you may appoint your subordinate or you can take the help of others, etc. It takes minimum 6 months and the cost is also 20,000 rupees, maybe more than that one. You collected both secondary and primary data, then obviously you have to analyze the data, both primary as well as secondary. Now, for analysis of the data, ready softwares are available, SPSS and other softwares are there. If you have the idea, then you have not to spend any amount for that. In Excel also you can analyze the data, but if you take the help of the expert and if your data is wide, then it takes 6 months, because everything you have, that fellow has to enter, and as per your requirement he will give you the tables. For that, if you will hire an experienced hand, then charges are more. If the person is a beginner, then he may take very less charge, and if you do by yourself, then no charge, but estimated cost is 15,000 rupees. Now you analyze the data. If you have designed the hypothesis, then you can test the hypothesis in analysis also. Then you have to prepare rough report for your study. For that one takes minimum 3 months. You have to take the printout, you have to format your document, for that you have to pay minimum 5,000 rupees. Then you can give this report to your expert. Middle time, by chapter wise also you can give for the correction, but after that also you have to submit the complete report, rough report, to your guide or to the expert, and it takes minimum 5,000 rupees. And if the report is good or nominal changes are there, then you can take the printout for your final report, and it will take 4 months. And for final reports you have to take, if suppose it is a PhD thesis, then 4 or 5 copies you have to prepare, binding charges and other charges. So it may cost you 15,000 or more than that. And for the other formalities, it will take minimum 3 months. Now, one question comes in your mind: what is about the theoretical background of your study? When you review the literature, that time you can get the idea about your research work and theory, so you can prepare. And nowadays it is easy. If you have computer, then addition, alternation, deletion, that work is very, very easy. So, for that generally it takes hardly 15 or 20 days. So, I have not included that one. Chapter wise also you can submit to your guide or your expert, and if it says yes, then do not forget to submit rough copy to your guide. If he says okay, then only take the final copy. So, this is the brief idea of your analytical research design. Same way you can prepare research design for other thing also, and do not forget to prepare your research plan. It will make your task very easy and simple, and definitely you can complete your research work. One request from my side, please subscribe the channel. My telephone number is 8200163734. My Gmail ID is thakurkumudini@gmail.com. Please subscribe the channel, give your comments and give likings. Thank you very much. So nice of you.